They said Earth would break any cadet. She tilted her neck. It is ridiculous. The Astra Prime Military Academy hung like a steel behemoth in orbit around a swirling gas giant. Its massive simulation bays pulsed with faint blue light, projecting ghostly images of Earth's wild terrains. Holographic jungles and mountains flickered across the outer hull, a constant reminder of the challenges inside. Commander Marcus Thorne stood in the briefing room, his rugged face etched with lines from years of command. He paced before a group of cadets, his voice steady but laced with frustration. Listen up. The Terra Standard simulation has chewed up every trainee who stepped in. 0% survival. That's 1,247 attempts, all failures. Marcus locked eyes with the group. The alien cadets shifted uneasily. Rook, the insectoid with 6 segmented legs, clicked his mandibles. Nira's scaled skin shimmered under the lights, her reptilian tail twitching. Fenn's arachnid form quivered, compound eyes darting. Their bodies, evolved for calm worlds, recoiled at the thought of Earth's madness. Predators that hunted without mercy. Storms that tore landscapes apart. Ground that shook like an angry beast. None of it made sense to them. The door hissed open. Lieutenant Elena Ward strode in, tall and muscular, her brown hair pulled back tight. She wore the standard officer's uniform, but with the collar open casually and a weathered jacket slung over her shoulders. It smelled faintly of pine and smoke, a piece of Montana she carried everywhere. Marcus turned, his weary eyes narrowing. Ward, you're the new transfer. Human, right? From that backwater called Earth. Elena nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. She scanned the room, noting the aliens' stares. Montana, actually. Big skies, bigger challenges. Marcus grunted, pointing to the hollow screen behind him. It displayed stats on the simulation, recreated predators with jaws that could crush alloy, storms whipping winds faster than shuttles, quakes ripping open the earth. This thing mimics your homeworld down to the last detail. 99.9% fatality chance for anyone not built like a tank. You sure about this? She shrugged, slipping her hands into her jacket pockets. Sounds intense, but back home we get blizzards that bury towns overnight. This? Just a light breeze, Commander. A chuckle escaped her, low and easy. The cadets murmured. Eris 7, the crystalline being, refracted light as it computed. Its voice hummed like a tuning fork. Human Ward, my models show your survival at 0.03%. Variables include your soft tissue, lack of natural armor. Sparks of data danced across its surface, eliciting whispers from the others. Rook leaned toward Nira. She's joking, right? No one survives Terra Standard. Elena met Eris 7's glow with confident eyes. Numbers are fun, but they don't account for grit. Marcus crossed his arms, his sarcasm biting. Grit won't save you from a simulated tiger ripping your throat, or a hurricane tossing you like debris. He gestured to the bay doors. But if you're set, step in. We'll watch from here. Elena adjusted her jacket, striding forward without hesitation. The doors sealed behind her with a deep hiss. Marcus settled into the observation console, his cynicism masking a flicker of curiosity. All right, cadets, eyes on the feed. Let's see if this human lasts longer than the rest. Inside the bay, the air hummed as the simulation booted up. A dense jungle coalesced around Elena, vines twisting like living cables, leaves broad as shields. Humidity hit 92%, beads of sweat forming on her skin instantly. Distant roars echoed, low and guttural, from creatures hidden in the underbrush. She hummed an old folk tune from home, the melody cutting through the tension. Outside, the observers leaned in. Fenn's eyes widened. She's singing? In there? Nira shook her head. Madness. Pure madness. Elena crouched, scanning the foliage. Her fingers brushed a sturdy branch, testing its weight. The roars grew closer, but her pulse stayed even. This was no different from tracking elk in the Rockies. Just bigger teeth, maybe. She cracked her knuckles, ready. The aliens watched, unsettled by her calm. Marcus leaned back, muttering, "Defiant little human. Wonder how long that lasts." The jungle thickened, shadows shifting. Elena's smirk lingered as she moved deeper, the stage set for whatever came next. The jungle pulsed with heat, the air thick and sticky at 92% humidity. Elena Ward moved silently, her boots sinking into the damp earth. The simulation bay had transformed into a primal wilderness, vines coiling like traps, shadows hiding threats. A low growl rumbled nearby, then another. Her hand tightened around the branch she'd snapped free moments ago. In 47 seconds flat, she'd stripped it into a makeshift spear, its tip sharpened with a scavenged flint. Montana hunting trips had taught her efficiency. Elk didn't wait, and neither would whatever stalked her now. The growls turned to shrieks as 5 velociraptor-like creatures burst from the underbrush. Each stood 2.5 meters long, their sickle claws glinting, capable of sprinting at 80 kilometers an hour. Outside the bay, Rook's perspective flickered onto the holofeed. The insectoid cadet's 6 legs twitched, his mandibles clicking in panic. She's done. No exoskeleton, no speed. How does she stand against that? His voice trembled, his biology wired for evasion, not confrontation. The other cadets leaned closer, their fear palpable. Elena didn't flinch. She scanned the terrain, spotting a narrow ravine 20 meters off, a choke point. She sprinted, her jacket flapping, drawing the predators after her. Their claws tore the earth, closing the gap fast. She slid into the ravine, wedging herself between rocks, spear raised. The first raptor lunged, jaws snapping. She drove the spear into its flank, a precise strike to a nerve cluster she'd guessed from its movements. It screeched, collapsing, blocking the others. The cadets gasped. Eris 7's crystalline form flickered erratically, its calculations unraveling. Her actions defy predictive models. Probability of success was negligible. A second wave slithered from the foliage. Venomous serpents, their scales glinting with infrared-sensitive pits. Elena cursed under her breath, eyeing a towering tree 15 meters high. She scrambled up, her muscles burning from years of climbing Montana peaks. The serpents coiled below, hissing, their eyes locking onto her heat signature. Thinking fast, she smeared bioluminescent sap from a nearby vine onto her spear, then hurled it at the ground. The glowing distraction flared, blinding the snake's sensors. They struck at it, confused, giving her time to leap to another branch. "Old trick," she muttered, grinning. "Works on coyotes. Works on you." Marcus watched the holofeed, his jaw tight. "Reckless luck," he grumbled, but his eyes caught her calculated moves. She wasn't just surviving, she was outsmarting the simulation. The trial ended as the serpents retreated, the jungle fading to neutral gray. Elena dropped to the ground, unscathed but for a tear in her jacket. A faint scar peeked out, a jagged line from a bear attack years back. She brushed it off, catching her breath. The cadets whispered, their voices a mix of awe and disbelief. "Is she fearless?" Nira hissed. "Or insane?" Fenn's eyes quivered. "Both." Eris 7's light dimmed, its voice low. "Her survival exceeds all known parameters. This is illogical." Marcus snorted, leaning back. "Illogical or not, she's still standing. For now." The bay hummed, preparing the next trial. Elena rolled her shoulders, spear still in hand, her smirk unwavering. Outside, Rook's mandibles clicked slower, his fear tinged with curiosity. "She fights like she's done this before," he murmured. Nira shook her head. "No one's done this before." Elena paced the clearing, her boots kicking up dirt. The roars were gone, but the air felt heavier, charged with something new. She glanced at the sky, sensing the simulation's shift. "All right," she said to no one. "What's next?" Her voice carried a Montana drawl, relaxed but ready. Marcus's console blinked, signaling the next phase. He leaned forward, his cynicism cracking just a fraction. She's got guts. Let's see if she's got endurance. The cadets watched, their doubt growing brittle. Elena tightened her grip, the jungle's silence louder than any roar. Whatever came next, she'd face it the same way she faced grizzlies back home, with a steady hand and a sharper mind. The bay's lights flickered, and the ground began to rumble faintly, hinting at the chaos to come. The jungle dissolved in a swirl of pixels, leaving Elena Ward standing in a vast frozen expanse. The simulation bay had morphed into a brutal tundra, winds howling at 120 kilometers an hour. Temperatures plummeted to minus 40 Celsius, frost crystals forming on her eyelashes in seconds. Her breath fogged the air, but she didn't hesitate. She scanned the whiteout, spotting jagged ice formations nearby. In under 10 minutes, her hands, calloused from Montana winters, stacked blocks into a crude windbreak. The structure cut the gale's bite, giving her a pocket of relative calm. Frostbite nipped at her fingers, but she flexed them, keeping blood flowing. Outside, nearest perspective cut into the holofeed. The reptilian cadet's scales cracked faintly under the observation room's warmth, a phantom echo of the cold. "How does she move? My kind would shatter in that freeze." Her voice hissed with panic, her tail lashing. The other cadets nodded, their own biologies rebelling at the sight. Rook's legs curled inward. Fenn's eyes dimmed. Eris 7 hummed, its crystals pulsing. 98% hypothermia risk. Human physiology should fail here. Elena ignored the chill seeping through her jacket. A blizzard roared in, bearing the landscape under swirling snow. Visibility dropped to 2 meters, the world a blank canvas of white. She closed her eyes, relying on memory and the faint glint of starlight piercing the clouds. Her boots crunched forward, each step deliberate. She scavenged a piece of simulation tech, a discarded energy cell from the snow. Rigging it into a thermal flare took moments. The burst melted ice into a shallow pit, forming a temporary shelter. Heat radiated, thawing her limbs just enough. Eris 7's prediction hung in the air, but her core stayed stable, instincts from blizzards back home kicking in. Marcus watched, his grudging respect building. Humans? Built for this crap. Sweat glands, endurance running. Adapt or die, I guess. He leaned on the console, noting her vitals. "Steady," the cadets murmured, doubt creeping in. Fenn whispered, "She's not even shaking." Suddenly, the ground trembled. An avalanche thundered down a nearby slope, 300 tons of snow barreling at 60 kilometers an hour. It slammed into her shelter, burying it in seconds. Darkness enveloped her, the weight pressing like a vice. Elena didn't panic. She clawed at the snow with a makeshift shovel, a flattened ice shard tied to her spear. Her arms burned, lungs straining in the thin air. Inch by inch, she tunneled upward, breaking through with a gasp. Snow clung to her hair, but she stood, brushing it off as the simulation flickered. The tundra began to shift again, edges blurring. Outside, the cadets exhaled collectively. Rook clicked. She escaped, just dug out. Nira's scales smoothed slightly. Impossible. Our worlds don't have avalanches like that. Eris 7's light steadied. Her actions rewrite the odds. Again. Marcus snorted, but his eyes showed a spark. Fairness? This sim's stacked against everyone but her kind. Seeds of doubt, cadets. Chew on that. Elena shook off the last of the snow, her jacket crusted but holding. She spotted the horizon warping, signaling the next trial. "All right, Frosty," she muttered, a wry grin forming. "What's the encore?" Her voice carried that easy drawl, like chatting over coffee. The aliens watched, their fear morphing. Fenn's quivers slowed. "She's questioning the sim now?" Marcus nodded. "Smart. Too smart." Elena paced the fading tundra, gear checked. Spear intact, flare spent but useful. The bay hummed louder, ground vibrating faintly. She rolled her neck, ready. Back in Montana, she'd survived worse with less. A buried truck in a storm, digging out by hand. This? Just another Tuesday. The cadets leaned in, whispers turning to discussions. If she beats this, Nira trailed off. Era 7 computed silently. As the simulation prepared its next assault, Elena's stance stayed firm. Winds died down, but tension built. Marcus tapped the console. Next up, shake and bake. Let's see her dance. The hollow feed zoomed in on her face. Confident eyes, no trace of doubt. The aliens shifted, their worldviews cracking like Nira's scales. Elena exhaled slowly, the cold no longer an enemy, just a familiar foe. The bay's lights dimmed briefly, then flared, thrusting her into the escalating chaos. The tundra vanished in a digital shimmer, replaced by a craggy hillside studded with gnarled trees. Elena Ward braced as the ground convulsed, a 7.8 magnitude quake tearing through the simulation. Fissures split open, 3 meters wide, gulping down loose stones. She stumbled, her spear jamming into the earth to steady her. Her pulse quickened, but her mind stayed clear. Montana tremors had taught her to ride out chaos. She scanned the terrain, spotting a vine dangling across a gaping chasm. With a quick breath, she sprinted and leaped, fingers closing around the vine. It held, swinging her to the other side. She landed in a crouch, years of climbing Montana cliffs guiding her grip and balance. Outside, Fenn's perspective flickered onto the holofeed. The arachnid cadet's compound eyes vibrated, facets catching Elena's fluid motion. She crosses voids like that? My threads would shred. His chitter carried raw disbelief, legs twitching inward. The other cadets mirrored his unease. Rook's mandibles grinding, Nira's tail coiling tight. Era 7's crystals pulsed erratically, its voice flat. Quake parameters exceed all non-human tolerances. Survival odds, negligible. The observation room buzzed with tension, the aliens grappling with her defiance of their logic. The quake's rumble faded, but a new roar rose. Wildfires igniting across the hillside. Flames surged 10 meters high, fanned by 40-kilometer-an-hour winds, turning paths into blazing traps. Smoke stung Elena's eyes, her lungs burning as she tore a strip from her jacket sleeve for a mask. No time to falter. She spotted a clearing and set to work, using a fallen log as a lever to clear a 5-meter firebreak. Debris shifted under her strength, the barrier halting the flame's advance. Keep moving, she muttered, sweat mixing with ash on her skin. The fire's heat pressed in, visibility choked by smoke. Elena navigated by instinct, using wind patterns and faint ridge outlines. Her pace never slowed, each step deliberate despite the searing air. Era 7's light dimmed further, its calculations stalling. No viable paths. She shouldn't function here. Marcus gripped the console, voice tight. Pause it. She's pushing too far. Elena's comm crackled instantly. No way, Commander. I'm in it. Her drawl was firm, unyielding. Marcus hesitated, then let it run. Your call, Ward. She spotted a safe zone 2 kilometers off, a rocky plateau beyond the inferno. Embers rained as she sprinted, dodging falling branches. Her jacket caught sparks, edges charring, but she rolled through ash to smother them. Aftershocks jolted the ground, forcing her to weave around fresh cracks. Marcus watched, muttering, "She's mapping it on the fly, damn sharp." The cadet's murmurs grew. Nira's scales gleamed with unease. Her world breeds this? Constant ruin? Fenn's eyes steadied slightly. And she moves through it like nothing. Elena hit the plateau, sliding behind a boulder to catch her breath. Hotter than a grill in July, she quipped, voice muffled by the mask. Her jacket smoked faintly, but she patted it out, smirking. The firebreak held, flames dying short of her refuge. Outside, Ruck clicked slowly. She outran fire. Fire! Era 7's glow flickered, silent for once. Marcus leaned forward. Final trial's worse. Rescue op. That's the breaker. Elena checked her spear, charred but solid. The simulation paused briefly, the air still heavy with heat. The cadets' awe grew, their fear softening. Fen whispered, "She's not just surviving, she's controlling it." Marcus nodded, "Rewriting the rules as she goes." Elena stood, scanning the horizon. Montana wildfires had taught her to outthink flames, shovels, and dirt against nature's rage. This was bigger, but the logic held. The bay hummed, signaling the next phase. She rolled her neck, ready. "All right, Sim, hit me." Sounded no mum. Her voice carried ease, but her eyes burned with focus. The aliens watched, their doubt fraying. The holofeed zoomed in, catching her steady gaze as the simulation prepped its deadliest test yet. The simulation bay dimmed, the scorched hillside fading into a shadowed cave. Elena Ward crouched inside, her breath puffing white in the chill air. The walls glistened with damp, jagged stone, the only sound a faint drip echoing in the dark. For the first time since stepping into the Terra Standard, she had a moment to pause. Her jacket hung in tatters, singed, torn, but still clinging to her shoulders like a badge of Montana stubbornness. She ran a hand over it, fingers brushing the familiar fabric, grounding her. Outside, the hollow feed lingered on her still form, the cadets watching in silence. Elena's mind drifted to home. Montana's winters had carved her, blizzards that buried barns, nights where survival meant outsmarting the cold. Her dad's voice echoed in her head, gruff and teasing. "This ain't a storm, kid. It's just nature's way of saying, get tougher." She chuckled softly, the sound bouncing off the cave walls. Humans didn't win because they were special. They won because they had to. Necessity forged her confidence, not some cosmic gift. This simulation, with its predators and fires, was just a louder version of home. She leaned back, checking her gear. The spear's tip was chipped but sharp, the flare spent. Her arm stung from a burn, a faint red mark where embers had kissed her skin. No matter. She'd had worse hauling hay in a dust storm. "Bad camping trip," she muttered, imagining her dad's laugh. The cave trembled slightly, a low rumble signaling the simulation's next phase. Her smirk returned, eyes glinting in the dim light. "All right, Terra Standard. Let's see what's left in the bag." Outside, Marcus watched the feed, his cynicism softening. Her vitals blinked on his console, heart rate steady at 80 beats per minute, despite the chaos. "She's not just surviving," he muttered. "She's thriving." The alien cadets leaned closer, their fear giving way to curiosity. Ruck's mandibles slowed their clicking. "Her pulse doesn't spike, not once." Nira's scales gleamed faintly, her voice low. "Is this normal for humans?" Fenn's eyes steadied, reflecting the feed. "Maybe normal for her." Era 7's crystalline form pulsed softly, its calculations silent for once. The cadets' usual stream of probabilities had dried up, replaced by a quiet awe. Elena's resolve was rewriting their understanding, one trial at a time. Marcus tapped the console, his voice gruff but tinged with respect. "She's got something we didn't account for. Will, maybe, or just plain stubbornness." The cadets exchanged glances, the seed of doubt about the simulation's fairness growing roots. Inside, Elena stood, rolling her shoulders. The cave's tremble grew louder, loose pebbles skittering across the floor. She gripped her spear, ready. Her reflection wasn't about doubt or fear, it was about clarity. Every step in this sim mirrored her life: adapt, move, survive. She didn't need to prove she was special, only that she was human. That was enough. "Come on then," she said to the empty cave, her drawl steady. "I'm ready for the big show." The holofeed caught her movement as she stepped toward the cave's mouth. The aliens watched, their murmurs quieting. Fen whispered, "She talks to it, like it's a game." Marcus snorted, but his eyes stayed locked on her. Maybe to her it is. The bay's lights flickered, the cave walls dissolving into a new scene. A war zone materialized, littered with rubble and flickering holograms of wounded figures. The final trial was here, 17 casualties to save. Under fire. Elena's smirk didn't waver. She'd pulled friends from worse back home, like the time a flash flood trapped her cousin's truck. Ares 7's light flared briefly, as if trying to process what came next. Marcus leaned forward, voice low. Rescue op. This is where it gets ugly. The cadets tensed, their awe now edged with dread. Elena stepped into the war zone, her boots crunching on simulated gravel. The air buzzed with danger, but her stride was sure. Outside, the observation room held its breath, the tension coiling like a spring. Elena's hand tightened on her spear, her mind already mapping the chaos ahead. Whatever the sim threw, she'd meet it with the same grit that carried her through Montana's wilds. The bay hummed louder, ready to unleash its climax. The cave walls shimmered away, dissolving into a sprawling war zone 5 square kilometers wide. Elena Ward blinked against the sudden glare. Rubble and twisted metal scattered under a smoky sky. 17 holographic casualties flickered into existence. Simulated beings. Some slumped against walls. Others sprawled in open ground. Their forms mimicked various species, wounds glowing red. Hostile drones hummed overhead, sleek machines armed with 50-watt lasers, patrolling at 30 kilometers an hour. Programmed to kill on detection, their sensors swept the area like spotlights. Elena dropped low, crawling through mud to mask her heat signature. Montana hunting had taught her stealth, stalking deer without a sound. She zeroed in on the first casualty, a childlike hologram 50 meters out. Drones buzzed closer, lasers charging with a whine. Elena timed their patterns, then darted forward, scooping the figure up. She carried it 500 meters to a designated safe zone, a shielded bunker amid the debris. Her arms strained under the weight, but she didn't slow. Outside, Rook's perspective cut in on the holofeed. The insectoid cadet's 6 legs shifted, mandibles agape. She's lifting 40 kilos? While evading, my frame would buckle. His voice clicked with wonder, contrasting his usual panic. The other cadets leaned in, breaths shallow. Elena set the hologram down, its light stabilizing. One down. She rigged a decoy from a downed drone's wreckage, twisted alloy and sparking wires. Tossing it into the open, she watched lasers converge on it, exposing patrol gaps. Predictable, she muttered, smirking. Tactics shifted. She sprinted low, rolling behind cover, diving from beam paths. In 22 minutes, she'd saved 10 more. Dragging, carrying, shielding them with her body when drones closed in. A laser grazed her arm, searing a 2-centimeter burn. Pain flared, but she bit it back, not flinching. Just a scratch, she grumbled, pressing on. Ares 7 sat silent in the observation room, its crystalline form glowing faintly. No more calculations, just a quiet nod of respect. Marcus gripped the console, his voice low. She's turning this into a drill. Look at her roots, efficient, adaptive. The cadets murmured agreement. Nira's tail flicked. No hesitation, like she knows the endgame. Fenn's eyes locked on the feed. Humans, built for this? Elena grabbed another casualty, a bulky alien sim, hauling it through crossfire. Lasers scorched the ground inches away, but she weaved using rubble as shields. She spotted the last one, pinned under debris 100 meters off. Drones swarmed, 3 converging. Elena feinted left, drawing 2 away, then bolted right. She heaved the rubble aside, muscles screaming, and slung the hologram over her shoulder. Return fire singed her jacket, but she sprinted to the bunker, sliding in as the simulation chimed. All 17 are safe. The war zone faded, bay lights brightening. Elena stood tall, bruised and burned, but unbroken. She wiped sweat from her brow, breath steady. Outside, the cadets exhaled. Ruck clicked softly. She did it. All of them. Ares 7's glow brightened. Beyond parameters. Respect earned. Marcus straightened. His cynicism cracked wide. Damn fine work, Ward. but hold for debrief. Elena leaned against the bay wall, catching her breath. Her arm throbbed, but she ignored it, mind replaying the saves. Back home, she'd pulled neighbors from wrecks, flash floods, avalanches. This amplified chaos, but same rules. Move fast, think faster. The bay doors hissed, ready to open. Cadets buzzed with talk. Changes the sim, Fen said. Nira nodded. For all of us. Elena straightened her jacket, patches of char and tears telling the story. She smirked at the ceiling, where hidden cams watched. That's all you got? Her drawl carried ease, like wrapping up a long hike. Marcus keyed the release, the room tense with anticipation. The revelation loomed, but for now, Elena savored the win. Bruises faded, grit didn't. As the doors parted, light flooded in. The aliens stared, their views shifting. Elena stepped out, ready for whatever came next. The academy air felt cool, a stark contrast. She flexed her burned arm, wincing slightly but pushing through. Marcus met her gaze, a rare nod. Stand by, Lieutenant. Sure. The cadets gathered, whispers turning to questions. Elena's stance stayed casual, but inside, pride flickered, not for beating the sim, but for showing what humans could do. The bay quieted, the climax giving way to truth. The bay doors slid open with a hydraulic sigh, revealing Elena Ward to the stunned cadets. She stepped out saying, jacket draped over her arm, a grin splitting her soot-streaked face. Bruises bloomed on her skin, the 2-centimeter burn on her arm raw but ignored. The simulation's hum faded, leaving the academy's sterile air feeling almost too clean. Marcus Thorne rose from his console, his rugged features set in a rare expression of surprise. The alien cadets clustered nearby, Rook's legs still, Nira's scales dull, Fen's eyes wide. RS-7's crystalline form hovered, its glow steady now. Elena wiped her hands on her pants, casual as if finishing a shift. Well, did I pass or what? Her Montana drawl cut the tension, light and teasing. Marcus cleared his throat, gesturing to the group. Stand down, Ward. You've exceeded parameters. He keyed a hollow display, pulling up the simulation's core data. Lines of code scrolled, highlighting survival metrics. But there's something you all need to know. The Terra Standard, built on human data, pulled from 21st century Earth records, storms, quakes, and wildlife, all calibrated to your species' baselines. Gasps rippled through the cadets. Ruck clicked sharply. Human data? That's why... Nira's tail lashed. We were set to fail. Marcus nodded, his voice gruff. Aliens like you, different biologies, no sweat for cooling, no endurance for extremes. The test skewed human, doomed from the start. Elena crossed her arms, eyebrow raised. So, you built a test only humans could pass? Sounds like bad programming, Commander. A chuckle escaped her, dry and pointed. Marcus met her gaze, his cynicism fading to admiration. Oversight on our part. Big one. From Era 7's perspective, the revelation hit like a recalibration. Its crystalline structure refracted light in new patterns, logic circuits rewiring. No anomaly in Ward, bias in the system. Its voice hummed, no panic now, just clarity. The cadets' usual rigidity softened, realizing Elena wasn't the outlier. The simulation was. Models adjust, human variables, key. The others nodded, their terror dissolving. Fen chittered softly. She bridged it, showed us. Rook's mandibles moved thoughtfully. Understanding humanity starts here. Elena leaned against the bay wall, watching the shift. Hey, don't sweat it. Earth's tough, but we adapt. You guys could too, with tweaks. Her tone stayed easy. No lecture, just fact. Marcus pulled up interstellar maps, highlighting training protocols. This ripples out. Galaxy standards need to be rethought. Council won't like it, but facts are facts. Political undercurrents surfaced. Alliances built on shared training now questioned. If Terra Standard favored humans, what about fleet ops? Colony defenses? Elena's run challenged it all, redefining impossible for the Council's rigid assumptions. The cadets gathered closer, once terrified, now viewing her as a link. Nira tilted her head. Your world, death trap? Elena shrugged. Nah, home. Bill's character. Laughter bubbled from her, easing the room. Eris 7 pulsed brighter. We study this. Adapt simulations. Marcus stepped forward, his salute crisp but warm. Ward, you're reassigned. Port Avalon, Frontier Colony, a 73% casualty rate from hostilities. You'll fit right in. Elena nodded, no hesitation. Sounds like a vacation. When do I ship out? Marcus handed her a datapad with the coordinates. Shuttle's prepped. Take your time, wait. Who am I kidding? You won't. He clapped her shoulder, a rare gesture. The cadets murmured approvals. Inspiring, Fenn said. Rook added, we'll follow your methods. Elena pocketed the pad, her grin widening. Just remember, standards change. Depends who's setting them. The group dispersed slowly, the revelation sinking in. Marcus lingered, watching her go. You shook things up, human. Good luck out there. Elena headed to quarters, the Academy corridors buzzing with whispers. Techs recalibrated bays, incorporating multi-species data already. Ares 7 trailed her virtually, its feed showing redesign sketches. Fairness now, it hummed. She waved it off lightly. About time. The political waves would hit soon, council debates, and revised protocols. But for Elena, it was simple. Prove the point. Move on. Her survival wasn't magic. It was a human baseline. The cadets, inspired, vowed to dig deeper into adaptability. Nira sketched human endurance notes. Fenn practiced risk assessments. As Elena packed, the galaxy stirred. News feeds lit up with her run, challenging old norms. She slung her jacket over her bag, the fabric a testament to the trials. Port Avalon, huh? Bring the volcanoes. Her mutter carried confidence. No bravado, just readiness. Marcus's assignment felt right. She'd carry the message forward. The revelation closed one chapter, opening others. Standards weren't fixed. They bent to who defined them. The Academy quieted, but the shift echoed wide. Elena's steps echoed down the hall toward the shuttle bay. Elena Ward strode through the Academy's shuttle bay, her steps echoing on the grated floor. The air hummed with the low thrum of engines warming up, a sleek transport vessel waiting at the dock. Port Avalon loomed in her mind, a frontier world scarred by 4 active volcanoes, their eruptions spewing ash that mixed with acidic rains. Not a vacation spot, but a challenge. She slung her duffel over her shoulder, the bag light with essentials. Her Montana jacket, now patched with quick-sewn fabric over the burns and tears, hung from it like a talisman. The garment had seen her through the simulation's hell. It symbolized more than warmth now, resilience forged in fire and frost. Marcus Thorne waited by the ramp, his armored frame straight but less rigid than before. As she approached, he raised a hand in salute, a rare warmth cracking his cynical facade. Ward, you've set a new standard here, not just for humans, for all of us. His voice carried grudging respect, eyes meeting hers. Elena returned the salute casually, her grin easy. Thanks, Commander. Just did what needed doing. He nodded, stepping aside. Safe travels. And watch those volcanoes, they don't play fair. She chuckled softly. Neither do I. The alien cadets gathered nearby, a small cluster of diverse forms. Rook's 6 legs shifted as he clicked forward. Lieutenant Ward, we'll study your methods. Human adaptability, key to our training now. Nira's scales gleamed, her tail still for once. Inspired us. We'll push harder. Fenn's compound eyes focused, his voice chittering. Thank you for showing possibility. Elena waved them off lightly. Hey, keep at it. You'll surprise yourselves. Eris 7 hovered close, its crystalline body pulsing with data streams. Redesign underway. Multi-species inputs for fairness. Your data, foundational. Its hum carried a note of gratitude, already sketching virtual models. Elena boarded the shuttle, settling into a seat by the viewport. The ramp sealed with a hiss, engines cycling up. Alone for a moment, her thoughts turned inward. Pride swelled. Not for being special. That was nonsense. No, it was for proving humanity's grit, the quiet strength that turned impossible into routine. Montana had instilled that. The simulation just amplified it. She traced a patch on her jacket, smirking. "We got this," she muttered, the words a private affirmation. The shuttle launched smoothly, vibrations rumbling through the hull. It accelerated out of Astra Prime's orbit, stars streaking as it jumped to warp. 3 light-years to Port Avalon, a 17-hour hop through the void. Elena gazed out the viewport, the galaxy unfolding in pinpricks of light. Nebulae swirled in distant hues, a reminder of the vastness ahead. Her smirk stayed unshaken, eyes reflecting the stars' glow. Challenges waited, volcanic flows, corrosive storms, but she felt ready, almost eager. Word of her run spread through the Academy's comms, rippling outward. The galaxy buzzed with debate. Academy feeds lit up, council reps querying the Terra Standard's bias. "Who sets the survival bar?" one post asked, sparking threads across species. Humans chimed in with stories of Earth, the deathworld, or the cradle of endurance. Aliens pondered revisions, old assumptions cracking. Port Avalon's colonists heard whispers too, prepping for the new arrival who'd beaten the unbeatable. Elena leaned back, the shuttle's hum lulling her. She pictured the landing, ash-choked skies, rain hissing on hulls. "Bring it," she thought, her inner voice steady. The cadets back at Astra would evolve their training, Ares 7's redesign leading the charge. Marcus might even smile more. But for her, it was onward, proving points one world at a time. As the shuttle hurtled through space, Elena's reflection stared back from the glass. The story wasn't over. It evolved. Impossible shifted with perspective. Her voice echoed in her mind, a quiet close. Impossible? Depends on who's writing the rules. The stars blurred faster, Port Avalon drawing near.